My name is Andrew Crompton. I have a 2-bed cottage in Broadstairs in Kent, which is at the top of the high street, down a little road, but it's close to the beach. And it's one of the only sandy beaches close to London. So good for a day out as well. We have a number of properties, but we made the decision with this one to use it as a furnished holiday let. And we spent a lot of time and effort making the property into a very nice, decent, clean, modern property, despite it being 200 years old. And we then decided to go into the furnished holiday let market. It was a fairly easy decision to make once we had the team that clean it and look after it day to day behind us. And from that point on, we haven't looked back. It's been a very successful business over the last few years. How the holiday market works, it's very different to the long-term rental market. We have found that we tend to start the year off with an almost clean sheet, and people then come in via Bloom and book up a few days here, a week there, 2 weeks somewhere else, all the way through the season. It's fairly short-term market. Sometimes don't know people are going to turn up until a week before they actually arrive. And we sometimes end up with strange gaps in the middle of the holiday season, which you weren't expecting. And then again, somebody can suddenly appear in those little gaps. So therefore the market is very definitely one where you can only plan so far ahead. But it does mean that even in January, you're thinking about next Christmas. So you always have to be ready for the next thing that's going to happen. And we are always looking for the critical 105 nights of occupancy, which is the important thing for tax purposes and the local council purposes, to make sure that we are qualified as a furnished holiday let and not a second home. The pieces of advice I would give to people going into the furnished holiday let market as beginners would be to go in with very much with your eyes open, aware that guests come in all types, to be also aware that you will not get back-to-back bookings all the way through the season. You end up with quite a lot of gaps, in fact probably more gaps than you think you're going to get. And you also get guests who are very, very different. Some you will barely know that they've been there, others it's very obvious that there have been people in the property. The reason why I use a holiday agent, I always have used agents, is because of the bandwidth that they can get for getting in new people to come in and have a look. I don't believe this is something I could do on my own or using Airbnb. It means all the issues about people arriving, bookings, money, deposits, taking photographs, keeping up to date are all dealt with by an agent. And quite frankly, having run properties for some time, I am quite happy to pay agents to do the hard work, because I simply don't have the time or some of the skills to be able to do that. It also means it means there's a cutout between me and the guests as well. So if there is an issue, it's the agents that are dealing with it, not me, at least not initially.